Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is James Steiner and welcome back to Hate Plus. I've had a long week, a really long week, so let's just relax a little bit by reading a little bit. What the? You spoiled it again, didn't you? I guess that royal family house never really changed much. You spoiled it again! I've had a long week. I've got work tonight, and I've also got work tomorrow. But by the time you see this, I will be working a graduation ceremonies at a university, so this will go up while I'm doing that, probably. Just so you know. Okay, so I guess the Ryu family house never really changed much. Of course it hasn't. The most extravagant bribery. Counselor Tae. Dear Counselor Jo Jin Young, I had the utmost pleasure of being invited to Ryu Kwang-soo's home to discuss business with the man. You were right. When one of the Ryu family wants to get you in their pocket, they sure don't fuck around about it. It's by far the most extravagant form of bribery I've ever witnessed. I'm pretty surprised that it's his brother that's the chief counselor, not him, because he seems a hell of a lot bolder to me. Are all the council nobility families like this? Because holy shit, I could sure get used to being in these ranks. Oh boy. He briefly mentioned a possible deck space deal over drinks, but mostly the evening was filled with gesturing. Hell of a job with the gesturing, though. I thought he couldn't get any crazier than when he casually mentioned busting out some vintage 4000 wine, but then he did. Instead of just some regular household servant delivering, he got Hyo A-jung herself to do it. Okay. I saw her a couple times at the Eternity before it closed down, and she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, pretty much. Loved her performances, and she just saunters out casually, uncorks a 40-year-old bottle, and kneels down like a common maid to pour it for us. It was unbelievable. How humiliating. It is, a little bit. Then she sang for us, which I'd never heard before. Needless to say, her voice was as entrancing and beautiful as you'd expect, and the wine was just as smooth. Her performance went on for about half an hour, singing about, well, the usual things. Lost love, the passage of time, that sort of sentimental shit. The theater's slogan was, playful, elegant, and holy shit does she still embody that. It's a guilty pleasure, but I can't say that her singing about past romance isn't emotionally affecting. It haunts your soul. I'm pretty envious of Ryu that he can apparently just hear that kind of performance whenever he wants, like it's no big deal. Anyway, then she sat down next to me, with her legs brushing against mine, and kept pouring me more wine. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know that Ryu was just trying to seduce me with that kind of treatment. Gross! A little bit. He just wants me to imagine how impressive their bribe must be. That was the point where he mentioned the possibility of getting my family some deck space that's more spacious than where we were before. Like, maybe even with a window to the stars. That's a romantic thought, that's for damn sure. I got a chance to talk with A-jung while Ryu was in the can. Mostly I just used the opportunity to gush about how big a fan I was of her. She was very gracious in listening to me. I like that hairpin you have, I told her. It's very bold. Oh, this? It's rather ugly, wouldn't you say? She said with a delightful laugh, but I promised my first love that I'd hold on to it. Aw, she kept the hairpin! Wow. Then Ryu came back in the room and we talked about our days at Muganghwa University. He wanted to know what things were like nowadays, and I was pretty happy to oblige with stories from my undergraduate studies. At the end of the evening, he said he'd save discussing business for next time and that he wanted to hear more stories about his old professors. I'm not stupid enough to think that he's interested in any legitimate friendship, but if this is what my council vote is worth, man, I'll take it. They really do not do things by half measures. With regards, Councillor Tay. Man, this counselor, he sounds like an inhuman piece of shit, but at the same time, gotta respect him for being at least honest in this letter. Okay, you seem rather upset. Now you're back to normal. Okay, that was really, really weird. Okay, so block 2 is done. Let's decode block 4, shall we? Block 4. Just going through your data banks, don't mind me. Block 4. Block 4. How many more stuff will be in block 4? So there's still 1, 2, 3. Alright, so after I extract these, there's still 3 left in block 4. The motherhood credit. Oh, are these... Okay, so records office. Okay, so this has to do a lot with the politics. That should be interesting. Very, very interesting. You know what? I want to extract the rest of the stuff real quick. Let me get the rest of block 4. Seo Young's smile. Why is that there? Hair charms. Okay, so let's get that. 2, 3. Just so I make sure I have all of them and so that they're in order. Should I do a couple of block 5? Yeah, let's commit to the rest of block 5. Still have plenty of power. So if I return to the home screen and I go to read extracted Mukungwan documents, go to block 4. Alright, I think I'll read one more, but I need to go and take care of some business really quick first. Fade back in. Okay, so I'm back. Let's get this shit done. So I will read one more of these, and then I will call it an evening so I can get this thing edited and ready to post tomorrow. Well, at least you're not spoiling anything. Amendment of the Education Act. Records Office. January 4038. Music changed. Chief Counselor Smith states, we have time for one more order of business today. Counselor O's proposed amendment of the Education Act. The text of it can be found in the third appendix of the session's agenda. I'll now leave the floor to remarks from Counselor O. No photo. It's the first time we've ever heard of him. Oh, lovely. Counselor O of Education. No remarks. It's just general housekeeping shit for the university. Counselor Mute. Security. Great. I'm going to abstain voting and decline to pay any more attention to this session if that's okay with you. Oh, wow. Chief Counselor Smith. Counselor Mute. It doesn't affect security. I vote don't care. Does the rest of the council object to bringing it to a vote? Counselor Ryu, Captaincy. None here. Counselor Kim, Engineering and Science. A lot of people here. I object. I don't understand the purpose of the proposed change about language rules. Is that really necessary? Counselor O. I don't think... Counselor Kim. Can you explain that? Counselor O. It's just some minor changes to general requirements. Even engineers have general requirements. That's why they're called general. I don't understand what they're talking about. It has to do with the language requirement. Counselor Mute. I don't think we needed the vocabulary lesson, Counselor. That's... Yes, I know. Out of line. Withdrawn. Counselor Kim. It doesn't sound like minor changes. Counselor O. This was all requested and drafted by Mugunghwa University President Oh Yun-ah. First time we've read about this person. Okay. She assures me that it's just a minor change to allow for students to get a more rounded education. Counselor Kim. What exactly is more rounded about forcing engineers into pointless general classes? Counselor O. Everyone already takes general classes. It's not... Pardon me, if I may. Counselor Lee, Culture. No, was from the Lee family. That's... we don't know who this person is, though. Counselor O. Certainly, I yield the floor to Counselor Lee. No picture of them either. We have nothing. Counselor Lee. As I understand it, the change is to allow general programs to include texts written in Chinese characters. Is that right? Counselor O. That's what I'm told. Oh, but learning Chinese characters is silly. Oh, that's why they have that weird combination of language in her time. I think this is why the education system is all fucked up. That's what I'm told. Counselor Kim. Meaning technical students will have to go out of their way to learn pointless nonsense that doesn't have anything to do with science. Counselor Lee. Chinese characters aren't taught in public schools. Counselor O. That's right. The other counselors see where this is going, yes? Does it really need to be spelled out why it would be a good thing to make the educational requirements for noble professions less accessible to any old peasant at the public school? Counselor Mute. In case you haven't noticed, we have a serious problem with overeducated peasants already. They agitate for democracy and give me a headache. Making things harder for them seems like preserving the status quo to me. Oh, so making it a requirement to know Chinese and to read Chinese. Oh god, that makes so much sense now. Okay, so so only the upper echelon know how to read and speak Chinese, meaning that they're able to subjugate anyone who doesn't know Chinese. That makes sense. But they're Koreans. That's hilarious. Counselor Lee. That was my thinking. Whoa. Mute back then really was harsh. No kidding. Counselor O. It's just housekeeping, regardless. Counselor Kim. I still don't. Counselor Mute. Counselor Kim, do you really feel that strongly about this? Really? Counselor Lee. If you move to vote, I'll second it. Counselor Smith. Do we have a motion to vote? Counselor O. I move to vote then. Seconded. Counselor Smith. The motion passes. How does the council vote? Counselor O. The Council of Education is in favor. Counselor of Captaincy is in favor. Counselor of Agriculture is in favor. This person was very quiet the whole time. Counselor Mute. The Council of Security wants to get this over and done with. In favor. Counselor Yang. Justice. Counselor of Justice is in favor and agrees with the lovely Counselor of Security. Yeah, no kidding, really friendly with Mute, but why? Counselor Kim. Ugh. See, he's the only one who didn't like it. Counselor Smith. Is not a vote. Counselor Kim. Fine, the Counselor of Engineering and Science abstains. I don't care that much. The Counselor of Culture is in favor. The Counselor of State is also in favor. Well, alright. Let the record show that the vote was 7 in favor with 1 abstention. The amendment passes and will go to the President for signing. With that, I move to close council for the day to resume next Monday. Counselor Mute. Seconded. Gladly. Then the High Council of Mugangwa is dismissed. Ooh. You still have nothing to say. That's really troubling. As that explains so much why there seems to be this disconnect with language when she wakes up, because she only knows Korean. She doesn't know Chinese, meaning that she can't read the Chinese characters. But the thing is, if I have the time right in my head, she gets waken up like maybe a couple hundred years after this instance, so that means that the upper echelon, they only know how to write in Chinese. They don't know how to write in Korean. That's why she doesn't recognize the characters, because she was taught how to write in Korean. But they still speak a somewhat similar form of Korean. That's why she could communicate with them, but they don't write Korean. That is hilarious. Anyway, I need to stop rambling on about that. I need to stop saying anyway. I need to have a list of words not to say up here on my desktop, so I go, okay, don't say that word, don't say that word, don't say that word, don't say that word. So, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button, share, favorite, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And hopefully we will see what made it so financially enticing for people to get married and have kids. Because I saw that in one of Block 4. I want to see how they made it so necessary for people to get married. Thank you all. I'll see you later.